Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing today on this nice Sunday morning? It's nice and hot out there, but I got my hot cup of coffee, so I think I'm going to be fine for the next while. So, let's get the plug-in away before we get started. Watch this weekly, 9 a.m. on Twitch at twitch.tv/DJ_funky_fresh. You can watch a recorded version or watch other YouTube videos on my channel at youtube.com/DJ funkyfresh gaming. Or if you want to catch this on Spotify, just search Funky Bunch at Sunday Brunch Podcast and you will find it on Spotify. This also goes up on SoundCloud. Look for Funky Bunch at Sunday Brunch or DJ Funky Fresh. Both should give you this. And that's everything. So, I'd like to thank everybody for actually listening to me as I talked about my knees for the last 2 weeks. I've never actually been able to open up about that before. And it was really kind of nice to be able to do that. It's just, an issue that's plagued my entire life, and then it, opened up and really got to talk about it. Yes, they were really good episodes. I taught a lot of people some things. I taught myself a few things, and, just able to get out, what I'm dealing with is always a good idea. So, but anyway, that's not for today. Today, we're going to do another slight history lesson / memories of me playing video games as I review the Legend of Zelda series. So we'll be going over every single game, as well as talking about some of the games I plan on playing at some point in the near future. And, a bunch of other stuff like that. I've played most of these games to some degree. I have not beaten all of them because some of them are old, and very annoying to play. So we're going to start with that. So the very first Legend of Zelda game came out in the US in 1987. It's simply referred to as The Legend of Zelda. It was on... Let's see. I think it was the NES. Yeah. I've played it. It is old. It is pure 8-bit graphics. It's where the commonly referred to phrase of "it's dangerous to go alone, take this," and the joke about the old man in the cave ready to give Link whatever he wants, usually the dick. That's where that comes from. It featured in a completely, 8-bit world, grid-style game where, you go to the left side of the screen, it transitions, you're now on the right side of the screen, and you got a new block in front of you. So that's that style. It's not one map with loading zones. Every tile is a loading zone. Obviously full of glitches with that game, because, you can screen wrap. That's a speedrunning trick where you, it's something where you're sitting, on the left side of the screen and you want to get to the right as soon as possible. You can, with a couple of button presses, you can go from the left side to the right side instantly. It's referred to as a screen wrap because you're on the left side, but you can exit out of the right. So it's used to go around obstacles and things like that. But, I do have this on my GameCube because it, do I have it for the GameCube? I'm about 90% sure I have this on the GameCube because it came with Ocarina of Time and Master Mode. It came with those two. Well, Ocarina of Time and Master Mode are the same game. It's just Master Mode's a harder version. I think it also came with The Legend of Zelda and The Adventure of Link. So I have played some of it. I've never beaten it because it's just not my type of game. Turning to the next thing that is not my type of game, we have The Adventure of Link, or Zelda 2. This was released in 1988, and this is a complete departure from everything Legend of Zelda. So this is more of an RPG type deal. So it has a fully loaded map with 16-bit. I think it's 16-bit. I don't know. Instead of Link being like a small little character, he's like fully fleshed out. He's got arms and legs. You can see his legs. You can see his arms. You know, he can jump. He can move side to side. In certain areas, like in dungeons and in encounters, it goes from like a top-down overview of like the map and everything to a side-scroller type of deal. And the fact that it has RPG elements, as in you earn experience points for killing things, which you can use to increase your strength, your magic, and your health. It is very different. It is also considered one of a very, very, very few, like one of two games where Link does not collect rupees. It is considered a black sheep of the series. This is also one I've never beaten, because it's, in my opinion, the first two Zeldas were the hardest Zeldas to beat. I'm not sure if it's because it's just so contrary to what I think of when I'm playing games, just because the design and what you have to do is completely different, but like, I truly believe older games are harder. I've always found just older games are much harder. They don't hold your hand, you know. They pit you against enemies. Like, back in the day, I'm pretty sure they made video games that we consider for kids right now, for adults, because nobody was thinking, oh, kids are going to be jumping right on into this and just doing whatever. Hello, Mankeys. And yes, that's very true. Not that I don't mind video games now, but the video games before were just so hard. Even knowing how to beat the first two Legend of Zeldas, I can't do it. One, I don't have the patience for it, and two, it's just very difficult. But now we're going to start hitting games that I have played and I have beaten. So, next on our list is A Link to the Past, which came out in 1991 on the Super Nintendo. However, I played it and have always played it on the Game Boy Advance, which came out in 2002. A Link to the Past. Very good game. Good memories. This is the first game in which you kind of just recognize the style of The Legend of Zelda. You know, you've got his sword and his shield, you've got him collecting items to go defeat, Ganon. You're dungeon crawling, you're exploring an open world. So, this is also kind of has that same, grid-based system where, you've got a certain area before you hit a loading zone. But those loading zones are close. Those grids are more like regions, though. So I guess I can't really say it's like the grid-based system, so I'm going to completely recant that and say it's not. This is a very open world where your only loading zones are going into buildings, going into dungeons, going into caves, or entering a new zone. In my opinion, it was one of the best games to come out and for me to get into, and I got into it. I loved that game. I played the crap out of that game. Let's see. I just want to see. Okay, this is covered later, so I won't cover that now. And then finally, the other game that I played the crap out of and have the game and the cartridge for it is Link's Awakening for the Game Boy Color. So there's actually, sorry, I lied. It's Link's Awakening for the Game Boy, and then there's Link's Awakening DX on the Game Boy Color. So Link's Awakening came out in 1993 on June 6th. So 27 years ago yesterday, Link's Awakening came out. And then it was re-released for the Game Boy Color in 1998 as Link's Awakening DX. So, the difference between Link's Awakening and DX was that it had additional features such as color, as well as a color-based dungeon and a Photoshop, which you could connect your Game Boy to the Game Boy printer and print out pictures you took in the game. So Link's Awakening was one of the first Zelda games that I got 90% of the way through, and I could never beat it. I could never beat it because I never actually figured out how to get past one puzzle. What, you like my Island Delfino Shine Sprite shirt? Heck yeah. Thank you. It's a great shirt. I can tell you where I got it after after we get through everything. Yeah, it's a Shine Sprite. Yeah, I got about like 90% through the game up to like the 6th or 7th dungeon, and then I just couldn't figure out a puzzle. This was back in the day where you couldn't also look it up on the internet. So I couldn't just go and, Google, how do I go here? Enter. So I never actually beat it. I plan on beating it at some point. Oh, I had a Game Shark. Trust me, I had a Game Shark. Also, for the longest time, I considered looking up guides on the internet to be cheating in my head, which is weird because I had gaming manuals, I had gaming walkthroughs, and that wasn't cheating to me. But going online, either I never thought of it, or I always considered it cheating. I don't know why. But, yeah. That was that. But, I do plan on playing Link's Awakening DX on stream at some point. As well as the fact that they remade that game on the Switch, which I will also at some point play. Just not when I've dropped a lot of money on a new computer. That'll be here Wednesday. I know it's so good. I want it so bad. Anyway. Now we're going to move to the, as they refer to as the 3D era, which brings us to the most beloved game for the N64, Ocarina of Time. No, I know you're referring to the on the Switch one, Mankeys. But yeah, it's so good. So, Ocarina of Time came out in 1998. originally referred to as Zelda 64. We played this on the 3DS with Ocarina of Time 3D, which included a couple of different things. It's also, was re-released on the GameCube in 2002, which I have. So, did you know that the N64 was supposed to have a sequel console called the 64 Double D? 64DD? And that remix and that sequel ended up becoming just the Master Quest. No, it was supposed to happen. It's just things fell through, and instead they made the GameCube. Yeah, this was the first time Link and the entire world was generated in 3D. You had a camera, you could move around. You were actually following behind instead of having like a top-down view of the overworld. You're just kind of third-person type of deal. This game revolutionized Nintendo. Between this, Mario 64, and I think one other game, those three were huge with revolutionizing what Nintendo did. In 2006, Nintendo Power ranked this as the best game ever to appear on a Nintendo console. It could have been Smash Bros. I was also thinking potentially like Star Fox 64. But anyway, quick thing about the Nintendo 64 DD. It was a peripheral released in Japan only. So basically, you attached a giant box underneath of it. Only 9 games came out for it. And only a couple of units were made. Basically, it allowed for the use of magnetic discs containing games, extra content, or extra memory. It was considered a commercial failure because it came very, very late in the console's lifespan. So that's the Nintendo 64 Double D. But, yeah. Like I said, Ocarina of Time was probably the biggest commercial success for the Legend of Zelda series, and really bolstered Nintendo's idea of kind of just always exploring what to do. Like, taking The Legend of Zelda, which had previously never been like this before, and then all of a sudden throwing it into 3D. Just, while it has a variety of bugs and a variety of issues, they still took a chance, and in my opinion, that chance paid off. Look at them now. They developed the Wii. They developed a console that is also a handheld. Like, they have gone everywhere. And I'm always excited to see what they're going to do next. Well, sometimes I may kind of just look at them kind of like, what are you doing, Nintendo? But they always deliver gold. But anyway, the Ocarina of Time does have a sequel, Majora's Mask, which was released in 2000. Same 3D engine as Ocarina of Time. And obviously was re-released in 2015 as Majora's Mask 3D on the 3DS. It was also released for the GameCube. That's what it was. So I have a GameCube disc that has Ocarina of Time Master Mode, Majora's Mask, Zelda 1, and Zelda 2. But, so, we'll get there. So, once again, this is a huge shift in gameplay in which, as we saw on my stream, the main purpose of this game is less about collecting your items. Like, you still get a fair amount of items, but it's more of utilizing masks, in which you can change into the 4 main races. Humans, well, I guess human is taking off the mask, but human, Korok, or Deku, Goron, and Zora. And using the abilities you get through those to solve puzzles, get through dungeons. This is also a huge change because before you always had like 7 or so dungeons to get through, and this one you only have 4 with a final boss. It's very different, but it's a fresh breath of air, in my opinion, to what we had. I very much enjoyed Majora's Mask because it was Link. It was darker themed, looking at death and tragedy and impending doom. You weren't trying to save Zelda like you usually are. You're just trying to save your horsey friend, and then you kind of get caught up trying to save the world. Ta-da! Another fun fact, every single copy of Majora's Mask is a gold cartridge. However, there are limited collector's edition lenticular cartridge. What is a lenticular cartridge? I must Google this. Majora's Mask. Images. Oh, it's a 3D image. So it's like one of those things where you like shift it around up, down, and like the image kind of moves with you. I think that's what it looks like, because all I saw were the same thing. Yeah. So instead of having the sticker, it had a lenticular image. Anyway. So now we're gonna move on to a series that doesn't get a lot of love and attention, but I plan on playing both of them on stream as well, because obviously we have the Nintendo Thursdays, which I'm going to use to devote towards the Legend of Zelda series first. We're going to have to figure out what we want to play, but 2 games I want to play would be The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, released simultaneously for the Game Boy Color. And you can interact between the 2 games via passwords or a Game Link cable. After one game has been completed, the player is given a password that allows the other game to be played as a sequel. They were developed in conjunction with Capcom, with Miyamoto supervising. It was originally going to be a trilogy, referred to as the Triforce series. However, the password system linking the games proved to be very troublesome, so the concept ended up being reduced to just 2 titles. The 3rd game was going to be referred to as The Legend of Zelda Mystical Seed of Courage. But I'll give you a quick overview on what the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons are about. So, in Oracle of Ages and Seasons, it will be a sad day when Miyamoto dies or retires from Nintendo. Miyamoto, Smash Bros, Mario, was he Zelda. I think maybe Donkey Kong. He's the daddy of all of the original core Nintendo games. He is Nintendo. They cannot lose him. But anyway. So, Oracle of Ages is more of a puzzle-based game, and Oracle Seasons is more action-oriented. But, as you can probably guess from the titles, they deal with different themes. Oracle of Ages has a system where you are jumping through time, and you're solving puzzles, so you go to the past. You fix something, then you go to the present. All of a sudden, something that was there is no longer there. You know, you change things in the past to make the future different. Oracle of Seasons, you're just changing those seasons in order to cross. It's like, oh, you need to get across this stream. Oh, better make it winter. Cross the stream. Oh, well, snow's blocking the way. Better make it summer. That's the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. It features a lot of cute animal friends. We'll probably do a vote when we get there, because each of them, there are 3 animal friends, but you can only choose one of them. And you guys can pick who's it gonna be. There's Ricky the kangaroo, there's a blue flying bear, and there's a hippopotamus? I don't remember. Yes, you can only have one friend. But they are in each game. So if you like 2 of them, well, vote for one on one and one on the other. But actually, I could probably look up this really quickly. Oracle of Ages. So you have... Oh, it's a Dodongo. It's Ricky the kangaroo, Moosh the flying bear, and Dimitri the Dodongo. That's who they are. It was a boss that you fought in Oracle in Ocarina of Time. It's like a rock lizard. We might find some in Breath of the Wild. Anyway, moving on to December of 2020, on the Game Boy Advance, 4 Swords was released alongside of A Link to the Past. 4 Swords I have never played before, because this was a game released purely for multiplayer. So you needed at least one other friend to play this. Are you freaking kidding me? I could have downloaded it on the 3DS for free and they had a single player mode. Are you kidding me? Oh well. But yeah, I've never played 4 Swords Adventure. 4 Swords Adventure... Or not 4 Swords Adventure, just 4 Swords. 4 Swords Adventure is a different game. We'll get there soon. Right. But in this, there's an enemy called Vati, who steals away Princess Zelda and splits Link into 4 people. And all 4 Links have to work together to defeat Vati and save the princess. Right, that was exactly my issue with that and 2 other games. We'll get to those soon. But the next game, yeah. So I can't talk too much about 4 Swords. All I can say is think Link to the Past on Game Boy Advance, and then with 3 other people. But next we've got Wind Waker. Let's see, when did it come out? Doesn't tell me, but I did not know. Fun fact, the GameCube came out August 24th in 2000. That means in 2 months and 17 days, the GameCube will be 20 years old. For many fans, The Wind Waker is considered to be the most amazing and adorable game ever. It's drawn very... Oh, okay, thank you. In 2002. It is drawn in a very cute cartoon style. It's very less serious. However, on the flip side, a lot of Zelda fans felt betrayed by Nintendo for releasing Wind Waker because during the GameCube reveal, they showed a realistic style real-time duel between Ganon and Link. And they speculated that this was for a Zelda game under development. Fortunately and unfortunately, the game they released 2 years later was Wind Waker. And so a lot of people saw this super realistic, amazing looking game for Zelda, and Miyamoto released a cel-shaded Zelda title. Yeah, here it is, December of 2002, yeah. Miyamoto said it would extend to Zelda for all ages. And to Miyamoto's surprise, the media said that Zelda was shifting to a younger audience. It's like, no, it's just... They've always tried new styles. They've never stuck with the same style. Yeah, one of the issues people have with it is a boat simulator. You spend a lot of time in a boat. I'm on a boat. Which, funnily enough, is another game, which I'll mention later. Yeah, I love Wind Waker. They re-released it on the Wii U as the Wind Waker HD, which improved graphics and had better sailing. Important. And they got rid of one of the most obnoxious features, which is you have to assemble the Triforce of Courage, which got shattered into, 9 pieces? And to get the 9 pieces, you have to find 9 maps. Once you find the 9 maps, you have to take them to Tingle. And Tingle's price for deciphering them is around 367 rupees per map. Which means several things. 1, you have to farm up rupees. 2, you have to actually get the wallet upgrades. And 3, you have to not want to kill yourself. Yeah, you could only carry 500, so you could only do 1 map at a time. So, if I replayed Wind Waker, or if I did Wind Waker on stream, I would try to do the Wii U version. I don't have a Wii U, so that makes things a little bit more difficult. So it's not one of those I'm planning on doing quickly. Yes, it is a grind, but anyway. Moving on to the next game, which came out in 2004, is Four Swords Adventure. Of course it can. That's how I streamed Breath of the Wild the first time. The Wii U emulator. But yes, the next game on our list is Four Swords Adventure. Imagine the Four Swords game for the Game Boy Advance, and now it's on GameCube. This is once again another deviation from previous gameplay, with the focus on multiplayer gameplay and level-based action, like Super Mario Bros. So there's 24 individual stages with a map screen, but there's no connecting overworld. However, it does have a single-player option, so you could play Four Swords Adventure by yourself. However, if you're playing with other people, each player is required to use a Game Boy Advance system linked to your Nintendo GameCube via a GBA GCN cable, which is really cool. They actually had there's a point where you can go underground on the main screen, and when you go underground on the main screen, you actually show up on your Game Boy Advance screen. So it was kind of cool. It was the first DS, I guess you could almost say. But actually the GBA GCN was a really cool cable. Using that, you could play any Game Boy Advance game on your TV. So you could hook your Game Boy Advance up to your GameCube and then play Pokemon on your TV or something. At least I believe you could. So Four Swords Adventure had two things. There was the Hyrulean Adventure, which was a storyline, action-packed, multiplayer game. And then there was Shadow Battle, which is a free-for-all melee battle mode, which pits Link against each other. Yeah. And then finally, we come to the adorable and last Game Boy Advance game on our list, the Minish Cap. So, the Minish Cap reintroduces an enemy we saw previously, Vati from Four Swords. He is the main villain in this and changes people to stone. And Link has a talking hat. And Link can turn to the size of a Minish, which is a mini Elvish. That's at least what I'm going for, because they've got elf ears, but they're mini, so Minish, mini Elvish. Haha! So this is a game that's obviously very puzzly, but you solve puzzles by obviously using items you collect in dungeons or by transforming big and small. Also something I plan on playing. This came out in 2005 in January for America. But yeah, you have a talking living hat. Fun, right? Alright, now we're going to move on to the next generation. And to start off, we have, in November of 2006, the first Zelda game on the Wii, Twilight Princess, came out. And then in December of 2006, it was released on the GameCube as well. It has the very realistic look. And so according to this, Twilight Princess is set hundreds of years after the event of Majora's Mask. It chronicles the struggle of a more mature Link, the descendant of the Hero of Time, which is attempting to rid Hyrule of the Twilight Realm. So, Twilight Princess is another one of those games that is highly liked and disliked. Liked by people who really enjoyed the gritty, realistic-looking graphics. Disliked by the fact that it is very fantasy. And some people say it doesn't take itself very seriously at all. I have lots of memories of Twilight Princess because when I was recovering from surgery, I actually bought myself a Wii and Twilight Princess and Smash Bros. For the Wii. And this is all I could play. Here's a nice little fun fact from Funky Fresh, or a Funky Fab fun fact. I don't really remember what FFFF stands for, to be completely honest. It changes in my head constantly, but Link is left-handed. However, most players for the Wii are right-handed. So in order to allow style to not really change a whole lot, but allow Link to... it's Fun Fact Funky Fab, thank you. So because Link is left-handed, if you look at any of the games, Link is holding the sword in his left hand and the shield in his right. So in the GameCube version, that's how Link has it. However, in the Wii version, they had to flip the entire world. Everything had to be mirrored because it was made left-handed, and then they couldn't just change it. So they just had to mirror everything in order to not break everything. So they just mirrored the entire world. So what was left in the Wii version is right on the GameCube version, yada yada yada. But yeah, it's a very different game, and it is one I do plan on playing. Well, I plan on playing almost all of these anyway. So, a lot of people dislike it, like Mankeys. A lot of people like it, and a lot of people are kind of in the middle. I'm in the middle. It's a good game, not one I enjoy playing a lot, but it's something I could do once a week for a stream, easily. So, now we're going to turn to some interesting games. So now we have Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. These are for the DS. And yeah. No, I understand, Mankeys. It didn't feel right. It was very different, especially if you consider everything before. It just took a huge realistic turn, and it went really dark, kind of like Majora's Mask. You know, whatever. But anyway, Phantom Hourglass. So the Phantom Hourglass is a traditional top-down Zelda with a cel-shaded graphical style of Wind Waker. It is a direct sequel to the Wind Waker. Let's see. It is one I want to try to play on stream. I'm gonna have to actually load it up on my Game Boy first before I do it to see exactly what I need to do, because if it requires like the microphone, we gonna have a problem. And then, of course, we also have Spirit Tracks, which is set 100 years after Phantom Hourglass. In this case, it's kind of got the same style, you know. Phantom Hourglass, you have a boat. You can upgrade your boat. You can change your boat. And all that sort of deal. You can create the coolest boat you've ever boated, type of deal. And it was a world where you're just going island to island to island to island to island to island to island. Spirit Tracks, kind of the same, except for you don't have a boat. You've got a train. Link is a conductor of the poop train. Same cel-shaded graphical style. And it was different. It was cute. I played this a lot when I was in Indiana for band competitions. So they're cute. They're kind of off-kilter type of deal. It's not really what you would expect because they're heavily reliant on the gimmick of the game. Like, Spirit Tracks is heavily reliant on your train. You fight train bosses. You think I'm kidding. And then, of course, you've got Phantom Hourglass, heavily reliant on your boat type of deal. But now we're going to move on to the one game I have never played. Skyward Sword. I've never played Skyward Sword. I don't own it. I want to. I need to look at my Wii to see if I can even hook it up. If I can, well, obviously I will. if I can. But if I can do that, then I don't have to emulate Wind Waker. I could just flat out play it through the thing, but I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Skyward Sword. You've never heard of them? They're for the DS. Yeah, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Well, they are direct sequels to Wind Waker. Phantom Hourglass being, like, you pick up with Tetra. And then, obviously, Spirit Tracks is 100 years later. But, anyway, yeah. Skyward Sword. I don't have a lot of information about this, because I've never watched people play it. Or anything, but, like... it has a lot of motion plus in the game, which is why I'm just like, I don't know how to do things. Yeah, much of the game focuses heavily on the use of Wii Motion Plus. Oh no, I have like 7 DSs, so, but that is a rip. Nobody likes breaking their hardware. But yeah, Skyward Sword is one I plan on getting, but I would actually have to buy the game, which wouldn't be a problem. Like I said, I need to look at the Wii to see if I can even hook it up. If I can hook it up with no problem, I will play the Wii very soon, after it would be Breath of the Wild. We'll probably do Twilight Princess. I know, Mankeys, you don't like it, but let me make fun of it on stream. Alright, now let's go to present day. So we have A Link Between Worlds for the 3DS. It's the 17th game in the series. This game came out in 2013. Hey, no worries, you come when you can. And I appreciate it whenever you can make it. So, A Link Between Worlds is the 17th game of the main series. This is the exact same world as A Link to the Past, and it is a sequel to A Link to the Past. However, it takes place hundreds of years later, and it turns out that there is a parallel universe called Lorule, which invades Hyrule. Get it? Because you got Hyrule and Lorule. Anyway. And then the main villain turns all the sages into paintings, and Link's job is to go free all the sages from the paintings. You meet an interesting character referred to as Ravio, who takes over your home, and you can rent or buy your key items from Ravio. So in this game, you don't find your items in dungeons. You rent them from Ravio. Color shifts? I have no idea what's causing color shifts. Sorry, guys. But, I'll take a look at some of the hardware later. But, okay. So, we've got 2 more main canon games. There's Triforce Heroes, which I do not have, or never played, for the 3DS. So, Triforce Heroes stars Link as the predecessor of A Link Between Worlds, who fled Hyrule and disguised himself in order to avoid recognition. He ends up in the land of Hytopia, whose princess was cursed to wear ugly clothing by a villainous witch. He teams up with 2 similar heroes to journey through the Drablands to stop Lady Maud to free Princess Styla. What the fuck? Cursed to be unfab. How dare you? This game is also fashion-based, with players being able to craft outfits with Madame Couture to gain special abilities. Yeah, I would want to play it. Can you play it single player? Or do you have to play with 2 other people? But okay, cool. And then finally, you have Breath of the Wild, the 19th game in the series. You can start to see that this game is going to be you take control of bot type things. Cool. There's talk that the next Legend of Zelda will be a Breath of the Wild 2, with more of this whole open world concept. All the major dungeons have been changed to 4 divine beasts and hundreds of ancient shrines. I'm sure they're going to refine the whole weapon durability, the taming and registering wild horses, give you new and better abilities like the shield surfing, the perfect dodge, and the guard. I'm interested to see where they're going to go more from here. Like, just to imagine, the last huge game was Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. They went from that to Breath of the Wild. It's kind of insane, just the scope and the scale of what they took from those games into this. It's just mind-boggling. Like, we're gonna go from Breath of the Wild to Twilight Princess, which is, Breath of the Wild came out in 2017. Twilight Princess came out in 2006. You're gonna see the difference of 11 years of game design for The Legend of Zelda, and just how different it is. It's wild. But, yeah. So, we're going to look at some of the spin-off games. There's Link's Crossbow Training, which really is just, you use the Wii Zapper, which was a contraption that basically puts your Wiimote into like a gun shape, and you use that, like, you're gonna hold it like a crossbow, and the whole game is you're riding on a horseback and you're shooting targets. That's Link's Crossbow Training. Everything is recycled from Twilight Princess. I have no interest in playing this game. I'm just flat out telling you. Now, this game I do want to play. Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is on the Switch, and it contains the content from Hyrule Warriors and Hyrule Warriors Legend. It is the action of the Dynasty Warriors series with Legend of Zelda. It got ported onto the 3DS in 2016, and then got ported to the Switch in 2018. I do want to play this game, though. I've heard lots of good things, and there are several meme qualities about it that I want to see. And let me know, do we want to look at the Tingle games? Or do we want to kind of get away from the weird 40-year-old virgin? You played the One Piece Dynasty Warriors type? Nice. I do kind of want to play that One Piece video game. There's several games I want to play. Tingle has game. Tingle has Tingle has 3 game. Tingle has Freshly Picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. In 2006, Freshly Picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land was released in Japan. 1 year later, it was released in English European version. The story begins when Tingle, a middle-aged man, is offered a life in Rupee Land, a rupee paradise, by a mysterious creature known as Uncle Rupee. Uncle Rupee guides Tingle, who goes on many quests and ventures into several dungeons to gather rupees. Tingle is told that when he gathers enough rupees and throws them into a magical spring, a tower will shoot forth and take him to Rupee Land. Then there's Tingle's Balloon Fight DS, only available to Club Nintendo members in Japan. It's a sequel, but it's Balloon Fight. Tingle's the main character, has 20 pieces of artwork which can be unlocked, has 3 different game modes. The first is similar to Balloon Fight, in which you must advance through 99 levels. Second is multiplayer. Third is Balloon Trip, in which you just go from level to level by dodging lightning bolts and collecting gifts. And then finally, there's Ripen Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love. Released only in Japan in August of 2009. The game starts with an ordinary 35-year-old man. When he watches a sales program on TV, the man learns of a book that is deemed to make its readers popular amongst the ladies. He orders the book, but then gets sucked into the world of a picture book when he opens it and transforms into Tingle. He learns that the only way to get out of the book is to dance with the princess of this world, which is the main goal of the game. The game is a parody of The Wizard of Oz, where Tingle meets three friends, Kakashi the Scarecrow, Bariki the Tin Woman, and Lion the Lion. Together they follow a yellow brick road and advance from page to page. This is a point-and-click game. If you want, we could look at 2 out of the 3 of these. But I'm not very excited about Tingle. But it is very memey. And then there are the Dark Horse, Sweep Under the Rug, we forget the fact that these exist, the Philips CDI Legend of Zelda games. Nintendo signed a deal with Philips, which, funnily enough, Nintendo aborted a partnership with Sony to make a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo. Instead, they signed a deal with their rival, Philips. After this deal also fell through, part of the compromise was that Philips was allowed to produce Zelda games for their own CDI console. They are called Link, The Faces of Evil, Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon, and Zelda's Adventure. These games are horrendous. If you want to see what a CDI Zelda looks like, Game Grumps did The Wand of Gamelon. Just watch a little bit of it, and you can see why Nintendo likes to forget that these games don't exist. But, yeah. Those are every Legend of Zelda game out there. Do you guys have any questions? Any comments? Yes, these games don't exist. For good reason. Seriously, look at Game Grumps play it. Just look at the art. You're gonna be like, how did Nintendo allow this to happen? There's a reason we don't have Nintendo movies. Have you ever seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie? No, this is a serious question. Have you ever seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie? There's a reason we don't. The actors regret doing it. It was terrible. I saw it as a kid. It was horrifying. I want to watch it again. Just for... But, yeah. Here, let me look it up real quick. Let's see. It's called Super Mario Brothers. 1993 adventure comedy film loosely based on the Mario video game series by Nintendo. Ugh. Super Mario Bros. This ain't no game. Who's the cast? So Bob Hoskins played as... Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna read the names. So Bob Hoskins plays Mario. There's John Leguizamo, who plays Luigi Mario. Their last name is Mario. So you've got Mario, then you've got Luigi Mario. Dennis Hopper is President Koopa. Samantha Mathis as Princess Daisy. Fisher Stevens as Iggy. You got Big Bertha. Oh my god. There are Yoshis and Goombas in this game? What the fuck? In this movie? It's just... It's weird. But, yeah. we kind of got off topic with that. But yeah, that is going to be it today. Oh God, Mankeys. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I'm gonna add this at the end. Does anybody have any topic ideas for future podcasts? I do have a 2-part series in my head. I was gonna start it today, but I just didn't think I had enough stuff for it, so I had to postpone it. But please leave suggestions in the podcast suggestion Discord or in the comments, and just let me know what you guys want to see, so that we can continue moving forward. I mean, if you got nothing, I still got some ideas in the back of my head. I can do more of these, well, let's look into the video game history and things I've played and things I haven't played. Still want to wait to finish Final Fantasy 15 before I jump into Final Fantasy. But yeah, there are other games I can do. So, right. But anyway, that is going to be it for us today. Thank you, everybody, for dropping by and watching. Thank you, everybody who are listening. And until the next time, everybody, stay funky, people.